Okay, so welcome to Dreamforge Brain. This is an application I built to illustrate how you can use AI to help you remember things, how you can use AI to help you retrieve those memories and keep your thoughts together and organize them. So this is for people who want to learn how to use agentic coding, AI integrations, and in this demonstration, this is a real app we built. You can actually try it out for yourself by creating an account here and then signing in and then trying it out. So it's a few highlights. It's private by default. It's grounded in the answers, got natural recall and structured memory flow. So explore what it can do and how it works on your own in the app. But I'll take you through a detailed orientation guide, good for beginners, to show you the back end. And as usual, we're going to start with how it was built after reviewing the app in the front end yourself. This is how you would log in. So I'll log in as myself so you can see signing in. And now I'm in my own brain workspace. When you first get here and it seems overwhelming, just try out the help and you'll be able to read how to do things, your workflow for the day, your recent memories, what I might have asked. These are just examples. I'm not going to give it away. I'd like you to explore this on your own. But here's your Athena, and she will be able to answer any concerns. She even has voice replay. Keep in mind this is a demo, so there's some limited credits and sample models that are free from OpenRouter that I used. If you were to build this professionally, you would replace these with better quality models, of course. You can also speak to her by voice or hands-free mode. So just as a quick orientation, this is a guide that I put together that you will also be able to get this entire guide. And not only that, if you become a member of Dreamforce Academy, for as little as $5 a month, you'll be able to get the entire source code of how I built my version. So if that's something you're interested in, do that from the guide, which is in that GitHub repo, which is just the source code in the cloud. You'll be able to try out the demo as well. So I've switched off the camera so that we can go through the guide together. So as a bit of orientation, what we're going to learn, there's going to be 8 chapters that you can explore on the left. If you have a question, ask it. You can see the answer here. Each one will explain a core concept through the lens of a real app, as you've just seen. So you can click any chapter to jump straight in or just pause this video. We'll go very slowly through this. This is made for beginners, not full stack developers. So this is what you're going to learn in these 8 chapters. The problem Dreamforce Brain solves is that the product vision and what makes a second brain app valuable to build for yourself. So we'll discuss the technology stack. Don't worry about this. If this sounds too much like development, you do have to know the concepts at least about these, but you can always ask your coding assistant if you use Codex or Claude what Nextjs is, Tailwind, Drizzle, ORM, and Neon PostgreSQL is. In short, I'll give you one tip. Neon is a SQL database that we're going to use. The authentication for users, a very common way to authenticate user logins, as you might have experienced if you tried the app, is this, the BetterAuth technology. We will learn how the memory system works, how it's stored in a PostgreSQL database, how it is enriched with AI through Athena, including the data schema. Schema is the design of the database, the structure of the tables. Think of them as a bunch of spreadsheets that has the relationships between them to store the data in the database. So we call our bot Athena, and we used OpenRouter so that it can be grounded in retrieval, intent, and detection, so that you can remember and recall and chat to you, and how she kept honest. So that's very important principle in AI and bots. If you're not careful, you might have heard they hallucinate. They can say things that's irrelevant and out of scope or out of context for the application. So I encourage you to spend a lot of time learning things about the system prompt and guardrails on your own. So just research with your favorite agent, ChatGPT or Claude, and ask the agents questions. Don't just tell them what to do, ask them to explain how they do it, why they do it, ask them for recommendations as well. So in this application, the PG Vector Embeddings, which is a vector database with an add-on for PostgreSQL called PG Vector, is how it works and how it will remember what to do and when. So why you need both for natural language recall we'll cover in here. So you saw a quick look in the introduction about voice input and reply. So we chosen DeepGram to help us with the speech to text. We have experimented with a hands-free mode in this demo, and you'll see in the source code and in the chapters how that is implemented as an introduction. Personally, I prefer 11 Labs currently for professional voice. So don't use the one that's in the demo if you want professional voice. And then the fun part, don't clone what I built unless you really want to as a start. Build your own. See how you can make yours better and unique for your needs. So note the learning goal for this course. So by the end, I'm hopeful that you'll understand the architecture decisions behind the real AI SaaS, software as a service product, not just how to use it. You'll know why PostgreSQL was picked over a vector-only database, why auth must never rely on the user interface, and how to ground an AI assistant in real data instead of letting it make things up, or as I said, hallucinate. So a quick note on who this is for. This is for beginners without a technical background. It is not for full stack developers unless you have an interest in this area and you're coming from the old way of doing things, but you have a solid code foundation. You just haven't worked with AI and SaaS agentic coding in the modern times. This was my journey too. I'm a 30-year plus full stack developer and database administrator, and I've taught myself how to migrate my skills into agentic coding. A note for full stack developers, if you do follow this, don't resist. Ask good questions, validate the code, and accept the fact that you will never write code again once you understand how technology has improved. So let's start with chapter 1, what we're building and why. Before we look at code and technology, we need to understand the problem this app solves, because the best decisions always start with a clear problem, right? So we all suffer from information overload. We can never remember what to work on next, where we put that note. We have 20 tabs open. As you can see, I'm still guilty of that. I've got all these tabs open because I'm not using the brain while I'm showing you the brain, but I should. So the filing system is normally supposed to be the solution, but filing takes time and most of us don't do it. We just didn't get around to it. Don't be like most people using your email inbox for a database. It is not a database. Pause the video as needed, but we will go through what is a second brain, how it's grounded in AI, and how the hybrid retrieval works, and how the AI enriched things for you. A personal knowledge management system is an external store for ideas, notes, and information that you can search and query instead of trying to remember everything yourself. Why is it grounded in AI? Well, an AI assistant that can answer from your actual data rather than making things up from general training. Zena only answers from what you have actually saved. So she becomes really a personal assistant for you. What do I mean by hybrid retrieval? Combining the exact wording matching keyword search with meaning-based matching semantic search so that natural language queries find the right results even when the exact words don't match. We also call this fuzzy search, and we can implement part of this with semantic search through regex, which is regular expressions, but then also combine this with vector database embeddings. With an embedding, this means a large list of numbers that relates to similar concepts that have been converted from those tokens before they became embedded. More on that later. So as you use a tool like this, The AI enrichment, the idea behind it is you're going to use AI to generate better titles, summaries, and categories, so your future recall works better without any extra effort from you. So let's take a look at what makes Dreamforce Brain a real SaaS product. SaaS is just, again, software as a service. This is not a toy. Even though it's a demo, it is production ready with all the qualities and commercial product needs. This one footnote is we haven't used the most expensive Claude or Opus models in the demo, but it's very easy to swap out through OpenRouter. Real authentication, like I said, you make sure that the people signing into your SaaS app, like this one, has to validate who they are, and you check that they have the right to use your app. We're going to have a persistent database, so when the computer is off and the internet is unavailable from your location, the data doesn't get lost, or if you close your browser, reboot your PC. So your data will survive page refreshes, new devices, and server restarts because it lives in a real cloud PostgreSQL database, not just your browser memory, which is lost when you refresh the browser, clear the browser. So all that references AI that references real data. Athena doesn't hallucinate her answers. She reads your actual saved memories and cites her sources. So this way you will feel confident where she gets her answer from. Even though the cheap and free models or any model can sometimes hallucinate or what we call drift, through proper training and guardrails, she has been limited and educated in the best possible way to respond for the purpose that she has in each application that you might build. In our example, a very common payment gateway is Stripe. You've probably heard of that many times. When you use Shopify, they use Stripe. It is one of the most popular ones out there. And you can decide if you want to use Stripe through what's called an API key for any application that you might build and want to charge users for. An API key is an application program interface with a unique key that you get to link your application to the payment provider. That payment provider then handles the credit card information, so you don't have responsibility or complexity in dealing with that. And if your app were to get hacked, it is still not directly your responsibility because you never stored somebody's credit card. Now, something that's very common is that in a SaaS app that you built, you may want to have a side panel or a secret section for your administrator controls. We will see in courses like this one and others that I've built, including the Academy. Understandably, if you become a member of our Dreamforce Academy, I need to have an admin section to see who are the students, who are the instructors, what are the details, what are they learning, what do they need help with, and so on. So it's just a private place where you can think of yourself as the person who is the owner or the founder. You are literally the administrator with more permissions to the database. You can do things like update things behind the scenes that your users may not be allowed to and shouldn't be allowed to do. So the key lesson for a second brain app is only as good as its recall, right? The product's core job is not storing data. Storage is the easy part. You can just store it in a note file, notepad file, or a spreadsheet, or in your Google Drive. The job is surfacing the right data when you need it, even when your memory of it is vague. So keep this in mind as you build your own version of your second brain. And if you want to join our academy, use this link, Dreamforce Academy. If you want to learn more about Dreamforce World, you can use this link here at dreamforceworld.com.